and welcome to Safeguarding Natters. Right, Anne-Marie, it's finally out. Keeping children safe is out.
I'm a modern person. I've got it on Kindle. I've got it on Kindle because I'm that sort of person. Yeah, I'm a 2021 even. Modern. In September 20, I printed it. I'm saving paper.
Yes.
And I've got it now, so I can read it on the train. I can read it at home. It's just amazing. So you can save it on Kindle if you have got the app on your phone.
So so say I get this on my desk now. I'm a designated safeguarding lead. I can see it all over social media. What should I be doing as a DSL? What should I be, because I'm almost bombarded now with information. So what should I be doing? What's the next step for me?
Okay, all right. So what you don't want to do is spend any money for anything in this. So I've seen people selling this, selling that. That's up to you. But the reality is we've all got our own interpretation of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we kind of know where the changes are going to be, don't we, from the whole thing about sexual violence and harassment guidance.
Yeah.
So we kind of know that will be one of the big features.
Yeah.
We know that they're reminding us about, for example, screening, search and confiscating and all the other things. So I would finish your lovely end of term. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give yourself some time out, and then either you do, you can either go for, there's 5 parts, okay? Part 1, part 2, up to part 5.
Yeah.
Either in your own time, do one part at a time. Get your highlighter pen, and as you're reading it, have a clear mind, highlight anything that's of interest to you, okay? Do each one. Again, maybe give it to your safeguarding governor, your chair of governors, part 2. Get them to highlight that section. Give your HR or colleagues in does the single central record, the part about safe recruitment, and then allegations against staff will be you and your head. Okay, that's what I think it's just easier highlighting it, and then again have your conversations around what you've seen, because don't forget with this one, have you noticed they haven't got it in red writing draft until? So I reckon this is the real McCoy in the sense of that. So it's something that is very unlikely they're going to change something drastic in it.
I agree.
So I think we're good to go with, in the sense of start amending so once you've looked at it, speak to your leadership around starting to look at your policy changes. Again, do it in draft. In the sense of things that you want to add. You've seen that COVID is kind of not in it as we thought it would be.
It's been taken out,
mentioned. But it's still mentioned, obviously, and I think they've gone back to being specifically safeguarded, which is good. But we know we can't escape the last 16 months. So I definitely would slightly move COVID to the side on this one and focus on the safeguarding KCSiE. And definitely thinking about your RSHE staff, for example, who are teaching that. I'd be thinking of what would part 5 mean for you. What are the messages you want to get across for your whole staff training in September? So if I'm starting on the top of your list, it will be you reading all of it as a DSL, but do it in parts. Give yourself 5 separate occasions to read it, and then highlight it, and then it depends if you're visual or how you learn, your learning style, how you receive new information. But I'm a visual, so I know for me that will be easier to digest. Some people might be audio. Yes. Kerry, some people prefer to hear it.
I think visual teaching methods, that's the issue there. A few teachers are going to be like shaking in their
what with visuals? For visuals?
Well, there's a big argument that isn't true, that if you're passionate about something you would learn no matter what. So for example, football. I am a visual learner. I do learn by doing and things like that. But no matter how much you show it to me or make me play it, I still won't learn football.
Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah, it depends on how. I think some people, like you said, some people want to actually
get their head around it.
And some people want paper copies, some people want online copies. It's completely up to them and how they feel the paper to whatever. But do what suits you, but in a chilled manner. So distance yourself from work. Don't see it as a work chore. See it as bedtime reading, not literally in bed, but away from work. As in your CPD. That's it. See it as CPD. See it as CPD, because that way you can absorb it as a learning rather than a chore that I have to do for work. enjoy it, make it fun, as in hence the 5 parts. Doing it separately I think would be better, because you can digest it, and then maybe for you have an action plan at the end. What does each part mean for you? And if you're doing your training in September, thinking about what you need to emphasize to staff with the updates.
I think the thing that always worries me with all of these things, I mean, I've already had 3 emails saying we'll turn all the key the document into your things, into your policies or your training. What I'm nervous about is that a DSL won't read the document themselves, then that they'll just
yes, that's what
whatever is given to you. And then I'm nervous that you then as a DSL aren't taking responsibility for what the policy is and actually implementing the policy. I mean, it is 167 pages, so it is a mammoth document. But I'm nervous that if we just then take something from internet, we're not actually digesting it ourselves and working out what we have to implement, because we have to turn it into our school language.
Localize it. Absolutely. It's got to be local, it's got to be specific to your setting and your audience. So I know, for example, I had a conversation with a principal head just before we got on this call, and we were talking about, for example, what the intercept looked like in emphasising what those harmful behaviours look like in the classroom, with a group of young people at break time, on a trip, all those things. So yes, like you said, you've got to think about it on paper, hence policy and guidance. But you've really got to think of, what does it mean for you in your setting? Are you boarding independent? Are you a Montessori, in a sense, all through, are you kind of a boys only, whatever you are, you've just got to think of what it means for you in your setting and how you're going to kind of put it into practice where you are amending things, because we know what inspectors are going to be saying next academic year, have they seen the changes? So you've got time to plan, but do it yourself and be realistic and plan it.
So there's 3 key areas really, isn't there? Reading it yourself, changing the policies, and then working out how you're going to pass on this information to staff. That's the 3 kind of areas. So you could almost have 3 piles where you're working out, when you're reading through it, oh, that's a policy change, that's a training change. That's more of an implication in an actual practical. So for example, safer recruitment, another column within the single sentence register. So you can kind of work out when you're reading almost like dividing up, right, who's doing what.
Absolutely, and divide it. So absolutely. So when you're reading it and highlighting it, when you're putting your highlighter, or maybe put like you said, an action, is it a policy, put an initial by it to help you, and that's policy change, that will be inset training, whatever. So thinking of, that'll be leadership, that will be whatever. So thinking about who's going to do what for it. So hence at the end of each part, if you've got like the action plan, then with your initials that you've done looking at it, you can then give people or have that conversation with others about what it will look like, because they need to be on this plan as well with you. Hence it'll be ready for September.
And one thing I liked when I had an inspection was I had copies of this on my desk, but I had copies of the different people that I gave it to and what their notes were on it, so the inspector could see that several people had looked at it and what they
different people. Okay, I see what you mean. But definitely, like what you said, the DSL has to be leading, has to be the one who said, it's my booklet, it's my changes, let me look at it, and then I'll tell you in our setting what the interpretation is of what needs to change. So don't please go off the shelf. If you get the off-shelf ones, fine, that's just something to read externally, but don't bring it into your setting to change, to bring that into practice, because every setting's so different.
And it could be you use an off-the-shelf thing just to get your head checking. Like if you feel that you need to reassure, feed someone else and go, oh, I didn't realise that's how they interpreted. Great idea.
And I've done that. So last night when I got it, I was so tired when I got in, I saw a few that just had the changes and bullet points. I was guilty of that, but I'm not going to only go by that. I'm also going to go and read it myself.
Perfect. That's really helpful. Thank you for that.
Problem.
All right then.
Have a lovely summer. Bye.